Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Premier League predictions. This is game week 14 predictions. But before we do get into this week's predictions, as always, we'll look through what we predicted last week and how well we did. If you guys don't know how the points work, I get half a point for every team I get correct, and I get 1 point for every scoreline I get correct. And yeah, let's get into it. Last week it was a week full of incredible games. We had about four massive games. Um, Starting off with Manchester City against Liverpool. I actually was a little bit disappointed in this game, not because I wanted to see a one side win. I wanted to see more goals in it. I wanted to see more action. If it had been a 3-3 draw, I think we would have been more excited. I went Manchester City 3, Liverpool 2. It was a 1-1 draw, and yeah, no points for that. Next up, Sheffield United against Bournemouth. Now, Sheffield United, I actually thought that they came into this game with really, really good confidence and good form. So I thought they could have picked up something. It's at home. I went with a 1-1 draw, thinking, you know what, they might actually be able to get something from it. But they lost 3-1 instead. Um, Nottingham Forest Brighton. I was close. I went 2-2. It was 3-2 Brighton. So, yeah. Burnley West Ham. I went 2-0 West Ham. It was 2-1 West Ham. So that's finally some points. Half a point for me. Um, Luton Town. Oh my god. I think I actually did say that they could probably pick up some points here. But I did not expect Luton Town to win this game 2-1. Um, Crystal Palace, man, that was shocking. Um, Newcastle United against Chelsea, the second match, that was incredible. Uh, I went 2-1 Newcastle United. It was 4-1 Newcastle United. Chelsea just collapsed in the second half. Let's another half a point. Brentford Arsenal. I went 2-0 Arsenal. It was actually just 1-0 Arsenal, so another half a point. Um, Everton, Manchester United. I went bold. I went with a punchy 1-1 draw. It was 3-0 Manchester United, unfortunately for me. And lastly, Fulham Wolves. I went 1-0 Fulham, and they won 3-2. So, yeah, have a point there. A bit of a controversial match there. So that's 2 points this week. I've fallen off. I look back at a few weeks, not even just a few weeks, but my best match day has to be match day 9, where I got 6 points, and now I've got 2. Yeah. Let's start off this week. There are many good fixtures as well. By the way, you can see, but Newcastle hosting Manchester United, Chelsea hosting Brighton, and Manchester City hosting Spurs. 3 absolutely massive games. Absolutely. Um, But let's start off with Brentford Luton Town. First match to kick off. There's actually 3 matches kicking off at this time. I think it might be a 3 p.m. kickoff. I don't know the time zones right now. Just let me check. Yeah, so I think it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. On this one, Brentford Luton Town, Arsenal Wolves, and Burnley Sheffield United. I'm gonna go sensible, right? Now, Brentford lost to Arsenal, but it was Arsenal against Luton Town. It's gonna be really tricky to predict this one because I expect something else to happen. But I'm gonna go with a 3-1 Brentford win here. I think Brentford can score goals. Luton Town might pick a goal up, but surely not Luton Town with another victory here. Arsenal Wolves. Look, I still have Wolves to get relegated since my Premier League predictions. Um, and Arsenal, off the back of a 6-0 win against Lens, anything can happen with this side. 5-0. Expect players like Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard getting involved with the goals as well. But I'm going a huge 5-0 win for Arsenal. Burnley, Sheffield United. This is an interesting game here because both teams, if they do want to stay up, have to win this. Now Burnley have to win this more because it's at Turf Moor. It's a home game, and they don't have many home games that are winnable. In fact, this is one of the few home games that I think Burnley should be looking at to win. Sheffield United at home last time out, I thought they were going to pick up a point. They didn't even pick up a point. Burnley, look, they were at home. They lost to West Ham. They're starting to maybe start picking up some points, but so are Sheffield United. Sensibly, you are gonna say a 1-1 or 2-2 draw here, but I'm gonna pick a winner because, yes, I said I want to be sensible, but I kind of also have the feeling that one side will edge the other out, and because of that, I'm gonna go Burnley 2, Sheffield United 1. Home win. I mean, it would be a big call to say Sheffield United will win that one. Nottingham Forest hosting Everton. Now Everton last time out against Manchester United got demolished. Nottingham Forest. Look, they lost just to Brighton. Overall, it's at the City Ground. It's at Nottingham Forest. Everton have had their 10-point deducted, and I read something about maybe even more points deduction, like crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna go. It's an interesting one. I'm gonna go 1-1 here. Everton will be desperate to pick up something from this game, but I don't see them winning. So I'm gonna go 1-1. Newcastle United against Manchester United. Look, it's at St James's Park. I did predict them to beat Chelsea, and Chelsea were in good form. And I'm gonna say that again. At St James's Park, it's a different game. It's a different game. If this was at Old Trafford, I would have maybe predicted otherwise. But I'm gonna go Newcastle United 3, Manchester United 1. It can only go one way here. It can only go one way. Unfortunately, at home, on good form, they went away to PSG, and I feel like they got robbed of a penalty. Like, not they should have a penalty, but they shouldn't have considered a penalty. Let me just say this real quick. So you're telling me that penalty was awarded to PSG for hitting or flicking off to his hand, to his arm, and Scott McTominay wasn't given a booking, or Galatasaray weren't given a penalty when McTominay just blocked it as well. It's basically pretty similar, but the referee didn't give it, so it's very inconsistent here. And Newcastle United should have won, and they're on very good form right now. So I think Newcastle United should win that. Chelsea-Brighton. Chelsea off the back of a loss, while Brighton off the back of a win. Look, I thought it would be made tougher for Brighton going away to the City Ground, but look, it shows that away from home, they can still win. Chelsea have to, make this home game count. But I'm going to go with a surprising 2-1 Brighton win here. Chelsea not on the best of form. You're looking at teams like Spurs and Chelsea saying they play one game a week. They should be pretty fine in terms of, player fitness. But they are just seemingly having it worse than everyone else. I mean, Newcastle United are having it badly. Manchester United are having it badly. Brighton are having it badly. But Chelsea and Spurs are not having it easily too. So, look, at Stamford Bridge, I think Chelsea can do something. But, I mean, yeah, it went from the likes of Arsenal, where Chelsea looked like they had a bit of hope. They then collapsed against Brentford. I think Brentford was at Stamford Bridge as well. So, clearly, Chelsea, they don't win every game at home, unlike Newcastle. So, you can't really, make a case for them for that. Liverpool, Fulham. Look, Liverpool, can they keep themselves in this title race? They definitely could. As of now, I think Arsenal are top of the table, by the way, and they will remain top of the table because they're gonna be Wolves. Liverpool, Fulham. Look, Fulham got very lucky with that late penalty call, which again shows kind of the inconsistency, not only in the Champions League but also in the Premier League. But I think Liverpool just wins this one, 2-1. Give Fulham some hope. And then West Ham Crystal Palace. It's at the London Stadium. It's against the Crystal Palace that they lost away to Luton Town. I can see a 3-1 coming for West Ham. And lastly, we've got Bournemouth hosting Villa. And remember what happened last time when we all went against Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth? I think it was Bournemouth. What was the game? Let me have a look. Right, it was Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth? Yeah, Bournemouth Newcastle. We all said Newcastle are gonna do it. Bournemouth have got no chance. Although Aston Villa went away to Spurs last time out and got themselves a win, their away record is still not as good as their home record. I mean, you look at their games so far this season, right? In the Premier League, away from home, they beat Spurs, they lost to Nottingham Forest, they drew Wolves, they beat Chelsea, to be fair, they lost to Liverpool, they beat Burnley, to be fair, and they lost to Newcastle United. So, not particularly convincing, and because of that, I'm going to throw in a 1-0 Bournemouth here, just to be a bit punchy, a bit punchy here. If it does happen, great, one of my best shouts, but I'm going to, throw a bit of a bold prediction here, my punchy shout of the week. And lastly, Manchester City against Spurs. Spurs beginning to drop out of the top 4. Man City, I think, are still title challengers and definitely are. And I think they will still win the league. I'm gonna go with, let's give it exciting. Let's go 4-2. But typically, Spurs haven't been an opposition that Man City beat often. Like, you look at their few meetings in the past, like the head-to-head sort of things. Last season they did beat them at the Etihad, but they lost away. They lost last year as well, the season before, at the Etihad, and they lost as well at Spurs. So basically, of the last 2 seasons when they've met in the Premier League, Spurs have won 3 times and Man City have won once. Basically, is what happened here. So yeah, I think one of Pep Guardiola's nightmares is facing Spurs. But I think they'll do it this time. I think they'll do it. Spurs, I don't think they have the squad. I mean, who will be back available for Spurs? That is the big issues here. Who will be back? The Man City injury list is still pretty much the same. Of course, they have a huge list of injuries. Christian Romero is back, so that's a huge boost. But Madison, Bentancur, Solomon, Richarlison, and Sarr, they are not going to be back. Van der Ven, he's not going to be back. I think Bissouma is back, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just have a check here. At who else is going to be back for Spurs. But yeah, Bissouma might be back as well. I look at the starting 11 and it's it's good. Like Spurs have a good starting 11. Like their starting 11 against Villa played really well, but when you move towards the later periods of the game, they ran out of steam. They ran out of options. They look to the bench and they're like, who can we bring on? And they have no one. So I think that's the biggest problem here right now for Spurs. Lack of squad depth, really. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button instead, subscribe, turn channels on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.